Alright, what up everybody? Just going to jump into a little bit of the daily look ahead, things to sort of watch out for in the next few days, possibly tomorrow. So, EU, I'm going to have to jump out to a weekly, and as you guys know, I'm playing around on my laptop as opposed to my trading system, or my trading station rather. So, right now, if you look, we're starting to dabble in this sort of weekly interaction zone over here. Could possibly start to see some form of a pullback. Might not happen until underneath these lows. Very, very difficult to say right this second. So what I'm looking for right now in the 4 hour is to possibly start catching this pullback. Now, again, I'm not a huge fan of playing pullbacks. I usually like to trade in the direction of the overall trend and let it establish itself so that we can kind of scale into multiple higher time frame positions. But for the time being, what I'm going to look at is you can see that we've got a half decent run that's pushed us up into. Seems like we're getting into like sort of like this daily range right here. I'd expect to possibly see this get swept at some point, and then possibly start looking for some higher time frame sells if and when, of course, they present themselves. So right now, I'd be very, very suspicious of watching around these lows for essentially order flow to kind of realign for us. Ideally, looking something like this. Give me 2 seconds. So. Ideally, we'd like to see it tap in, probably get swept, come up like this, and then start interacting, having some level of liquidity to take, either here and here, whatever it might be. So right now, we are getting deeper and deeper in price, so I'm just reluctant to get into crazy, crazy higher time frame sells. I just want to shed light on what I think the next move in the market could be. Getting into GBP USD. Similar stuff. I would say that, the real boss or the most recent boss happened here. There was also another one here. This one actually did take liquidity. So did this one. So these are both half decent zones to sort of start looking, measuring out your POYs, looking in here to be able to kind of correlate what our POY flow chart would recommend. So like I said, I'm more or less looking for these higher time frame pivot points to be able to kind of get interested in the market. So the number one thing that I'm looking for right now would be, actually, if you look across, you do see this nice interaction zone in the 4 hour that comes here. Now, it doesn't take liquidity. That's the only thing I don't particularly like, but the POY does have inducement to possibly push down. So we'll have to just kind of watch around this area to be able to potentially get ourselves into some half decent trades. Going further down the list, let's get into AU. You can see tons of liquidity building, but we also have a supply chain building, right? So ideally, I would probably want to play into this supply chain, potentially start looking for sells, and just go along with what's essentially the flow of money in the market right now. So until that does something different, there would be no reason to essentially look for anything else. That being said, if you look across and you see this larger sort of swing structure break that's happened, obviously coming up into here, into here, are all things that are very, very possible in the foreseeable future as well. So, GJ, what's GJ doing? Still think we're going to come and take this low, or at least come down into it. So, I would... Freaking hell. I would love to see this drive one more time. To be honest with you, I would love to see this drive one more time and then just drop. I don't know if that's going to happen, but this is that really nice area to kind of watch, at least in my opinion. Being able to see this, just take that last bit of early sellers out and sort of plummet into the abyss. So that's one of the things I'm looking for on GJ in terms of trading alongside with what's happening in the market. Building liquidity, failure to create, creating liquidity for the move to be able to sweep into the higher time frame demand chain. USD JPY, I'm actually going to get rid of this pair. I don't want to monitor it anymore. It's just on too much of a parabolic run. USD CAD. USD CAD, yeah, you can see we're starting to push up again. Let's get down into our lower time frame stuff. Yeah, we've kind of come into this demand chain, but you will notice one of the nice little details here is that we actually take liquidity right here, right? With this, we push down, we come up, we mitigate, create a bunch of liquidity, come back down, and this fails to create a new high, but this also fails to create a new low. So what is the overall trend right now? It looks like we want to push down to load bags a little bit higher, at least in my opinion. So I am going to be monitoring what's going to happen in and around these POIs to be able to see what that next potential move is, possibly induce one last time, and then drop like a bag of bricks. Could also go the other direction, but how premiumly priced we are, I'm not super interested in playing that right this second. Euro JPY, again, just dancing around the low. So until the low breaks, I'm not really sure what to do with it. Like I said, the sells were valid in here. There were valid sells in here. I do think that we're going to come quite a bit lower, but we could very much take out all of this liquidity first and then drop again. So I'm going to be watching for this as sort of like the next move, induce this, and then possibly start dropping a lot lower. So again, I'm not giving specific POIs. I'm looking at more of a narrative, understanding where the high probability trades come from, understanding what the next potential move in the market is. So yeah, like I said, we could drive into here, maybe mitigate demand in here somewhere, and then start order flow realigning, come up into here, and then start looking for these better sells. Gold, honestly, nothing at the moment. I want to start to see a pullback. I want to start understanding what the next move is. We do have a break of structure. We do have a conveniently placed liquidity grab, as well as a bunch of levels to induce in here into an area that remains unmitigated at the top. So I would be over the moon to be able to see something up in here. I don't know how and when that's going to happen, but I will definitely be on the ready to pounce if and when it does come up here. So for the time being, until we start to see some sort of a complex pullback where we have a take, break, and then a remitigation of that sweep, I'm only going to be interested in plays from here. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Feel free to ask any questions about the narrative anytime throughout the Trading Questions channel in the actual Discord server. And make sure that you're adding the team so that either myself, Dave, Afonso, or Koda can reach back out, and Dana if she's available. So have a good day, and we'll catch you guys later.